Those breaking news, they're coming in just as you arrived in studio to share with us exactly where we are right now in the counting, or at least confirming the electoral outcome. Just share with us what we've just heard now around the breaking news of Lazarus Chakwera conceding defeat.
Well, absolutely, Mfundi, especially in the context where we've seen mounting pressure on President Chakwera really to concede defeat. I mean, you've had the likes of former Malawian President Malawi really just talking to Chakwera to reach out to Mutharika, but also you do have the religious bodies in Malawi for the sake of calm and peace. This is a country that has always been known to be very stable in Southern Africa, notwithstanding all the challenges that the country is facing, but also Mfundi, what is critical at this point is that Malawian Electoral Commission was supposed to really announce the official results at this hour. But we do understand there has been a postponement. So during the course of the night, that's when the results will be announced as well. But also it's been very interesting with these elections where there has been a number of concerns raised by certain parties, including the party of President Chakwera, where they spoke about the widespread irregularities. At some point, they went to court where they wanted the court to intervene. But then the court said, well, the Malawian electoral body should go ahead and make sure that they do make the announcement during the course of today.
But what has been the position of the observer missions? Have they said anything, come out to raise issues or concern?
It's been really interesting, Funda, really just looking from the observer missions, whether you're looking at SADC from EU and AU itself. So a lot of them really said these were very peaceful elections, but I think the major concern was around the impartiality of the broadcasting, especially when it comes to the public broadcasting, to allow more parties to have really just more airtime as opposed to the governing party. But also what is very significant for Malawians with these elections, a number of concerns, from the high inflation to the economic hardship to the really issues around the fuel concerns, the shortages that you have seen. So it's been a very interesting election, very, very competitive polls.
Because that was going to be my next question, that what were the major issues around the campaign trail? So fuel being among those.
Very much so, Mfundi, especially because I think when you look at really how the campaign trail was run and in fact how President Chakwera governed, there were so many expectations. I mean, this is a man, a pastor, a theologian who really just came into really the political sphere, and he had so many promises in terms of dealing with rampant corruption, the economic fortunes of Malawi, especially because, I mean, this is a country that is very agricultural, but also a very low industrial base in Fundo, especially also with the aid cards, the likes of Malawi, where there's so much over-reliance with the aid coming from outside of the country. So there has been a great deal of disappointment with his government, with how he has really governed, but it's quite interesting because with these developments, is currently the chairperson of the SADC Troika when it comes to defense, security, and also political security in the SADC bloc. But also it's quite interesting as well that as we talk about these elections as well, also the people of Seychelles and Mfundo will have an opportunity to go to vote, and President Chakwera had appointed the observation mission to go to the Seychelles.
But it must be stated that quite commendable to have such a statement from Lazarus Chakwera, because in most instances many do praise when we see a peaceful handover of power here, wishing the incoming president well, but also, I suppose, accepting the electoral outcome.
Very much so, Mfundi, especially because, I mean, when you go back to what the former president of Malawi said to Chakwera, to say there is life after the State House. So you have to reach out to the president-elect. Of course, we're still waiting for Malawi's Electoral Commission to really make these confirmations in terms of Mr. Mutharika. But also what is very important, Mfundi, is that Malawi has always been known to be a very stable country. You go back to those elections in 2014, and also how we saw the Malawi's constitutional court nullifying those elections, but also pointing to the culture of democracy, and also Mr. Chakwera himself saying that out of respect of the citizens, and also seeing the very insurmountable lead by Mutharika. So he deemed it fit to reach out to now the president-elect.
But we'll certainly await the Electoral Commission's confirmation of those results. Kylie Clare, as always, thank you very much.
Malawi is witnessing history in a rare show of statesmanship. President Lazarus Chakwera has officially conceded defeat in the hotly contested 2025 presidential election, even before the final results were announced. This bold move shocked many, but insiders say Chakwera had already seen the writing on the wall. The former president Peter Mutharika is surging ahead with a clear lead, poised to clinch victory with over 50% of the vote, sparking wild celebrations across his DPP stronghold. Chakwera, who came to power on a wave of hope in 2022, now exits stage left as Malawians opt for a return to familiar leadership amid growing economic hardship. Chakwera's concession message was brief but powerful, thanking Malawians and calling for peace and unity. Meanwhile, Mutharika supporters are pouring into the streets of Balante and Lilongwe, waving flags, blowing vuvuzelas, and chanting Boma Ilo. This election is more than a political shift. It's a full cycle moment. Mutharika, once ousted by the courts over rigging elections, now makes a thunderous comeback, and the people of Malawi have spoken loud and clear. Stay with us as we bring you the official tally, reactions from across the continent, and what this means of Malawi's future. History is unfolding right now. This is Pihoa Network News.